So student, today we are going to start the Dalton's atomic theory. Okay. So Dalton was the English chemist. Okay, and he proposed the atomic theory in 1803. Okay, he is the Sir John Dalton. Okay, he proposed the model of an atom and he explains that atoms are the spherical indivisible particle. They are spherical and indivisible particle. Okay, and he proposed the atomic theory of the matter based on the experimental observation. It is really very important. He proposed the atomic theory on the experimental observation. Very important that you have to remember. Okay, so let discuss first like postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, so the first recorded evidence that atoms exist is given by Sir Dalton only. Sir John Dalton only. Okay, using this theory, Dalton's rationalized the various laws of chemical combination. Okay, so the Dalton theory was based on the premise that the atoms of different elements could be distinguished by the difference in their weights. So he proposed that different types of atom having different like atomic mass. That time atomic number was not discovered. Atomic number was discovered on 1913 by Henry Moseley. Okay, before that only atomic mass was there in order to classify the atom. Okay, so at that particular time atoms were classified into different categories and their properties by their atomic weight or atomic mass only, not by atomic number. Okay, so there was some limitations in the John Dalton's atomic theory. Some of these are the indivisibility of an atom. See, he explains that atoms are indivisible, but the atom, like indivisibility of atom, was proven wrong by the Sir John Dalton. Okay, he was failed to explain why atoms are indivisible. Okay, for an atom can be further subdivided into proton, neutron, and electron as like time passes. More like technology was developed, more high techniques and methods were developed due to which proton, electron, and neutron were discovered. Okay, but that particular time there was no such information and no such technology was there. But still, he proposed that atoms were spherical and indivisible. But he fails to explain why atoms are why atoms are indivisible. Okay, the atoms of the same element has similar in all the aspect, but isotopes of the same element have different masses. See, he explained that whatever the matter we have around us, they are made up of the same kind of element, or suppose we are discussing about the gold. Okay, so suppose we have any object which is made up of the gold, so all the particles or all the individual atoms of the gold having similar property, like in case of diamond or graphite or carbon. Suppose we have the piece of carbon over here and all this matter is made up of the same kind of atom, but he fails to explain why same atom shows different atomic mass number. Like we have carbon 12, we have carbon 13, we have carbon 14. So these are the isotopes because they're having same atomic number but different atomic mass. So it was not explained by Sir John Dalton. So these are the two main limitations of the Dalton's atomic theory. So Dalton's theory was based on the premise that the atoms of different elements could be distinguished by the difference in their weight. So he explains that suppose we have carbon, that matter is made up of the carbon, that matter is made up of the gold. Okay, so they, like gold is different and carbon is different. Their difference is can be distinguished, or we can differentiate these two matter by the difference in atomic mass of that particular matter. Is it or not? Like gold having different atomic mass and carbon will having different atomic mass, like this. So that particular time atoms were distinguished on the basis of difference in their atomic masses. Okay, everyone do the response.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but he fails to explain why carbon is having different atomic mass but having same chemical and physical property. Okay, he fails to explain that about the properties of isotope. Okay, now the next theory was given by Thomson, Sir J.J. Thomson. Okay, so Sir J.J. Thomson was the first who discovered the atom, electron. Okay, he discovered the electron in 1897. Sometime that period is some like different in different books. Somewhere it is 1868, 69. Okay, somewhere it is 1865, somewhere. Okay, so the time period it is given in different book is not actual fact. Okay,
Sir, I didn't understand what is an isotope.
isotope. Okay, so isotopes are the elements having same atomic number but different atomic mass number. So we have carbon having three isotopes, beta. So see, we know carbon have atomic number 6. Is it?
Yes, sir.
That means carbon has 6 electron as well as 6 proton. Is it?
Yes, sir.
And its atomic mass is 12. That means it is having 6 neutron also.
Okay, understood, sir.
Yeah. But sometimes what happens in the same carbon atom, number of neutron changes sometime. Okay. So in carbon 12, we have
Sir, number of neutrons changes.
yes, yes. So in
Okay,
carbon,
sir.
yeah, in carbon 13, we have 6 electron, 6 proton, but 7 neutron. So due to presence of one extra electron, carbon shows one more atomic mass as compared to carbon 12. So here atomic number is 6, which is the same, but atomic mass here we have 13 and here we have 12. So atomic mass is different. So those atom having same atomic number but different atomic mass number are called as isotopes. We have carbon 14, okay, atomic number 6. Here we have 6 electron, 6 proton, but 8 neutron. Okay, so here again neutron is like increasing in number, so its atomic mass become 14 now. Okay, so here again atomic number is same 666, all the three carbon atom, but their atomic mass is different. Here we have carbon 12, here carbon 13, and here carbon 14. So the atomic mass is different. So what are isotopes now? Elements having same atomic number but different atomic mass number are called as isotopes. Understood now?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. So now see, the model which is given by the J.J. Thomson is called as beta plum pudding model. Plum pudding model means what? Suppose you are celebrating your birthday and you are like you have ordered the cake having like cherries topping over here, like this, cherries red. Okay, so he explains that the real structure of atom is a spherical, and that part, okay, that part is the positively charged, and that, as you can see here, this pudding is nothing but the negatively charged particle, and they are revolving in that spherical part only. Okay, that structure, he compared that structure of atom to the plum pudding model. That's why that atomic model given by J.J. Thomson is called as plum pudding model of atom. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but he was the person who discovered the electron by using one device called cathode ray discharge tube. Cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, he discovered electron by doing that experiment, cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, and he confirmed that in atom negatively charged particles are present. Okay, he also showed us that the atom can be split into even smaller part like in proton, neutron and electron, but he never like explains about proton and neutron. He only discovered that time only electron in its nucleus. Okay, and on the basis of electron he told that atoms can be divided into basic parts. Okay, like here we have this electron, so we can divide that into that particular electron. Okay, so he explains that atom can be divided by like in further, like what is the definition of atom? Atom cannot be those such particles that cannot be divided further. It is nothing but the atom. But J.J. Thomson explained that atom can be divided into the simpler form, because he discovered electron like more than one electron. That's why he explained that yes, atom can be divided further. Okay, his discovery was the first step toward the detailed model of the atom, because he discovered the first subatomic particle called electron. So like it is the way we can say that where more particles if present there, we can discover them also. Okay, so he was the first who discovered the first subatomic particle, and he named that subatomic particle as electron, and it was the negatively charged. And what is the charge on one electron?
Minus, negative charge.
Charge on one electron.
Positive.
It is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 90 coulombs.
Electron is positive, na sir. Neutron is neutral.
Yes. Okay. This is the charge on one electron. Okay, everyone.
So electrons are negative and protons are
See,
positive. And
we can't
neutrons
say we can't say the negatively charged and positively charged. We can say that this is the charge of electron which cancel the charge of proton, because proton is having same charge but their magnitude is different. That's why we used to say one is positive and one is negative. Okay, but we cannot specify that electron like that 1.6 into 10 to the power minus charge is negative. We can't say. We can say it is the opposing charge which cancel the charge of proton. Okay. If someone asks you what is the charge on electron, so you just have to say 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Okay, and it oppose or it cancel the charge of proton. That's all. Okay, you need not have to mention the negative charge is present or positive charge is present. Okay, you just have to say charge only. Yes,
Okay,
we
sir.
know that proton and electron having opposite or magnitude. Okay, their charge is in opposite magnitude only. Yep. Okay, next. An atom is uniform sphere of the positive charge. See, he explained that particular part. Let me color that. Okay, that particular part. He explained that it is the positive sphere, and where that part. Okay, we have colored dark. Wait a second. Let me dark them like this. Okay, and these are the negatively charged particle which are embedded in the positive sphere. Okay, so explain that this is the positive sphere. It is the positive sphere. Okay. As well as the negatively charged. Okay, see here positively charged spheres and negatively charged particles are embedded there in the form of pudding. Okay, whenever we are designing the cake, we use to have we are using like sometimes blueberries Okay, is it or not? Sometimes we are using cherries also. Sometimes we are using like colored cherries also. Okay, so these are nothing but we are decorating the cake is called as the pudding. Okay, so atom as a whole is electrically neutral because the negative and positive charge are equal in magnitude. Okay, so here the negative and positive charge particles are present there and they cancels each other. So he explains that positively sphere's charge is cancelled by that negatively charged particles called electron. Okay, he explains like this. Okay, now next point. See, this is the cathode ray where he performed the experiment. That experiment is called as cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, we'll discuss that. An electron is negatively charged component of an atom which exists outside the nucleus. Okay, so we know that the center of atom where mass is concentrated is called as nucleus. And at the nucleus, proton and neutrons are present there. Okay, but that time proton and neutron was not discovered. Okay, each electron carries one unit negative charge, and see that charge on electron, which is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, is considered as minus 1 unit negative charge. Okay, but if someone asks you what is the charge on one electron, so it is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, and it is cancel positive charge of proton. That's why it has given magnitude negative. Okay, it has a very small mass as compared to that of the neutron and proton. Okay, so the mass of one electron is about approximate 2000 times less than the mass of proton or neutron. Okay, so I'm just writing important point here. The mass of electron is approximate 2000 times. Somewhere it is shown that it is 1737 times. Sometime it says like 1850 times less, but we are just considering approximate 2000 times. Okay, everyone understood now? So it is 2000 times less than the mass of proton and neutron. So proton is represented by P positive and neutron is represented by N0. N0 means no charge, neutral particle, and electron is represented by E minus. So whenever I am writing E negative, it means electron. Whenever I am going to write P positive, that means proton. And whenever I will use that N0 is neutron. Someone is in waiting room. Wait a second. Okay, Vivek just came. Okay, next. See here. See why he explains that electrons having negatively charged particle. So here we have the cathode. See here we have the cathode. Suppose that negative and positive charge electrode or the terminal are not there sometimes. We just think we do not have that particular part over here. So he found that, and here we have vacuum, almost vacuum. Okay, and he supplied current more than 10,000 volt. Okay, and he created potential difference between that point and that point is about 1000 volt, and in a dark room, and he saw that the light ray was like starting from the cathode and they were moving toward the anode. Okay, so he explains that light emerging from the cathode, that's why he named that the cathode ray. Okay, see, this is the cathode ray. because light rays was emerging from the cathode and they are traveling toward the anode, and anode is positively charged. So these cathode rays were traveling toward the anode, means toward the positive charge. So it explains that they must having negative charge. Is it or not? Because negative charge and sorry, opposite charges attracts each other and same charges repels each other. So these rays were attracting toward the positively charged electrode. That means these rays having negative charge on them. Is it or not? Is it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So, Sir J.J. Thomson used cathode ray tube. See, it is called as cathode ray discharge tube to demonstrate that the cathode ray responds to both magnetic and electric field. So, this is the magnetic field. It is, suppose if we will keep negative and positive charge, no, north and south terminal here. So, that light ray which is emerging from the cathode called cathode ray will get deflected from its original path. Okay, so now he placed that electric field, strong electric field over here. So these ray emerging from the cathode called cathode ray were bending toward the positive terminal. It shows that these rays were having negative charge on them, because due to negative charge they are attracting toward the positive electrode. Is it or not? Okay, and he explains that electrons having negative charge on them. Okay, negative charge. Okay,
Okay, sir.
next, since the ray was attracted to the positive electric plate placed over the cathode ray discharge tube, he determined that that ray must compose of the negatively charged particle. We already discussed that. Okay, they were traveling toward the positive charge electrode called anode. That means these rays were having negative charge on them. He called these negative particles as electron, and he named that rays having like particles, and he named such particles as electron. And electrons were negatively charged particles. So now we will discuss about the limitations of Sir J.J. Thomson's atomic theory. So the model failed to explain how protons and electrons were arranged in the atoms so close to each other. Okay, he fails that why electron and protons were arranged in an atom so close to each other, because we cannot see with our naked eyes the presence of atom. Is it or not? Because they are very, very, very tiny. Even we cannot see them with the help of microscope. We will require electron microscope to observe them clearly. Okay, so he fails to explain why, like how such particles, like we have positively charged particle at the center and negatively charged particle, they are revolving around the nucleus continuously. So how these particles arrange themselves, J.J. Thomson fails to explain that. Okay, that's why it has become limitation for the J.J. Thomson's atomic model. Okay, now next, see what happens that J.J. Thomson given the atomic model, and he explains that atoms have negatively charged particles. Okay, atoms have negatively charged particles which are continuously revolving in the sphere. Okay, so Goldstein thought that atoms are neutral. Atoms are neutral, means there is no charge on atom. And J.J. Thomson explained that like the presence of electron in atom, that means atom must contain negative charge on them. But if atoms are neutral, that means in atom some other positive charge particles must be present, and that positive charge cancels the charge of electron. That's why atoms are neutral. So he just explains that. Who? Goldstein. Okay, so Goldstein was the German scientist, and he proposed the atomic model as given in the diagram here. Okay, next. So now we'll discuss the experiment done by the Goldstein. So the Goldstein, see here, proton were discovered here in 18, only given idea about the proton when 1886, and electron is discovered before that. So the discovery of electron must be 1868, is it or not? Is it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question?
See, here proton were discovered later, first discovered electron, is it?
Yes, sir.
So see here, so Goldstein confirmed that the presence of positively charged particles in an atom, and when in 1886. So atom were discovered at that particular before time, no? Time of that 1886. Is it or not? Because electron were discovered before the proton, and proton is discovered in 1886. So electron must have introduced or discovered before that particular time. Is it or not? Is it? But in your textbook, it is given that electron were discovered in 1897, and this time is after the discovery of proton. So it is not correct. So correct is what? 1868 and or 1869. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, after that, proton were discovered in 1888. It is only the idea was given by Goldstein, but proton were discovered by Rutherford. Okay, we'll discuss that also. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. So the Goldstein in 1886 discovered the presence of new radiation in the gas discharge called canal rays. Okay, called as canal rays, and canal rays were positively charged. Okay, they are also called as anode ray. Anode ray. Okay, this ray were positively charged. See, this ray having positively charged radiation, which ultimately ultimately lead to the discovery of another subatomic particle. So from here, the journey for the discovery of proton begins from 1886. Used a cathode ray tube to study the canal rays, which had electrical or magnetic properties opposite to the electron. Okay, so he again used the same cathode ray discharge tube. Okay, but light rays, instead of emerging from the cathode, light rays were started emerging from the positively charged electrode. Okay, so and these rays, positively charged rays, were traveling toward the negative electrode. It shows that, okay, it shows that that positively charged particle present in an atom only. Okay, so canal rays are what? So the positively charged radiation produced in the discharge tube at a low pressure and high voltage are called as canal rays, or they are also called as anode rays. Okay, they are called beta anode rays. Understood? See, who given the idea there is presence of positively charged particle in an atom? By Goldstein, but it was confirmed by the Ernst Rutherford. Okay, now we will discuss about the Rutherford's atomic model. So he discovered the positively charged particle, and he confirms that in 1997. Okay, in 1897. Okay, everyone. Okay, now next part. See, Rutherford took a thin gold foil and made the alpha particles. Okay, where helium 2 plus ion positively charged particles, okay, charge helium fell on it. Where? On the gold foil. So gold foil was there like this. Okay, here we were having screen, and here we have the source of alpha particles. Okay, so here we are having slit in order to filter extra light coming from the, okay, outside. Okay, so here we have the S1. Sometimes two slits are being used. Okay, it is called as beta S2. Okay, now good. So when this ray will like incident starting emitting radiation from here, so this radiation will travel through the slit 1 and slit 2, and then it going to collides on the gold foil. This is the gold foil. Okay, so he found that there is a dark object found over here. So that dark object represents what? Okay, so suppose here we were having any particle, light rays enters from here and collides with them and returns back into the same direction. So at that particular situation, light rays will not going to pass toward the screen. This is the screen. So that particular time the black spot will appear. Okay, and some other like dark particles were moving continuously around the nucleus. So he thought that there is one like positively charged center is present there and negatively charged particle revolving around it continuously. Okay, he explains that in his experiment. Now observation: most of the alpha particle pass through the gold foil throughout getting without getting deflected. Okay, so most of the light ray get pass through that gold foil and they were traveled toward the that lens we are performing experiment over here. Okay, that particular screen here. So what happens then? So few particles were deflected. So few particles were deflected to the opposite side. Suppose here we have positively charged electrode and here we have negatively charged electrode. So positively charged particle will travel in this side and negatively charged particle will travel in this side. Okay, a neutral particle will go in a straight line because they are not going to deflect by, okay, it. Is it or not? Next, a very few alpha particles like 1 in 1 lakh. 1 in 1 lakh. So how we are going to have like very small alpha particles? By using S1, S2 slits. Okay, if we will use S1, S2 slit, so very less amount of light is going to enter here. Is it? Do reply.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we will discuss about the inference now. This is nothing but the observation. So most of the space inside the atom is empty. Yes, it is empty because positively charged center is present here, and if electrons are revolving in different shell like this, okay, like this, so that here we have 2 electron, 1 and 2. Here we are having 8 electron. So this is the empty space found. Okay, this is the empty space found inside the atom. Is it? So the most of the space inside the atom is empty. Positively charge of an atom occupies very little space here. Okay, because positively charged particle present in the center only, and center of atom is called as nucleus, and which is very like very small. Okay, so that's why here it is explained that like positively charged particles and negatively the neutral particles, they acquire very small space. Okay, so the positively charged particle of the atom occupies very little space. Okay. Nucleus of an atom is very, very small as compared to the total size. So here, suppose the nucleus of an atom is a very, very small as compared to the size of atom. So here we have, this is the size of atom. From the distance from here to here is called beta atomic radius, and that atomic radius is going to decide the size of particle. Okay, so if you will compare atomic radius and nucleus radius very, very less. Is it, everyone? Keep replying, beta.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll discuss the limitations of Rutherford atomic theory. So the nucleus and electron are held together by the electrostatic force of attraction, which would lead to the fusion between them. Okay, this does not happen in the atom. Okay, so here it is given atomic radius. Okay, here we have nuclear radius over here. Okay, so we have difference in them. So on the basis of their difference, see, limitation says the Rutherford atomic model, nucleus and electrons are held together by the electrostatic force of attraction. Yes, we know that. What is electrostatic force of attraction? The force of attraction working between positively and negatively charged particle is called as beta electrostatic force of attraction, which would lead to the fusion between them. Okay, this does not happen in the atom. Okay, see, here already explained that atom is having very, very large empty space inside them. The nucleus is acquiring a very, very small like space at the center of atom called nucleus. Is it or not? Okay, so whatever the particles we have in an atom, they are hold each other with the help of positively charged and negatively charged particles only. Okay, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so here we have James Chadwick. See, after the discovery of proton by Hans Rutherford, discovery of electron by proton and electron. Electron is represented by negatively charged and proton is represented by positively charged. Okay. We are discussing that after the discovery of proton and electron, neutron was discovered. Okay, and neutron having atomic mass, or the mass of one proton is approximately equals to the mass of neutron. Okay, everyone. So I'm writing here mass of proton is approximate equals to mass of neutron, like this, and it is having zero charge on it. So in 1932, James Chadwick discovered that neutron. Okay, he proved that atomic nucleus contain a neutral particle also, which have been proposed more than a decades earlier by the Ernst Rutherford. Yes, because the Rutherford explained that there is presence of positively charged particle, and he names such positively charged particle as see, negative particle, negative means electron and positive means proton. Very simple. Okay, but he discovered one more subatomic particle and he named that particle as neutron, and neutron was having no charge on it. Okay, so when he discovered in 1932. Okay, so Chadwick received the Nobel Prize after 2 years in, no, after 3 years in 1935. Okay, everyone.
Yes, sir.
So this is all
Yes,
about the atomic model given by Sir J.J. Thomson, Sir like John Dalton was there. Okay, so these are the different scientists who contributed toward the discovery of proton and discovery of atom and their subatomic particles called proton, neutron, and electron.
Electron.
Yeah. Okay. So the neutral particle or the subatomic particle contained in the atomic nucleus it has no net electric charge on it. Okay, unlike proton and electron. Okay, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Yes, sir.